What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Arizona Golf Podcast on the Golf Podcast USA Network. I'm your host, Brett Smith, and today we're spotlighting the Carlisle, Arizona Women's Golf Classic in Scottsdale, an Epson Tour stop where you can see the future stars of the LPGA up close at TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course. Tournament Director Matthew Clark is joining me to break down the storylines, the fan experience, and how to get tickets. All right, Matt, welcome to the show. For people meeting you for the first time, what is your role with the Epson Tour, and what does the tournament director really mean day to day?
Yeah, well, first off, thanks for having me, Brett, and thanks for spotlighting our tournament. Yeah, as you kind of alluded to, my role is to serve as the tournament director for the event. So really, my role is kind of all things involved with a professional golf tournament. I touch everything from managing the volunteer program to marketing and sponsorship of the event, managing on-site events that happen during the week, the Pro-Am, do a junior clinic, working with the host club there, TPC Scottsdale, organizing all the food and beverage, sort of all of that, managing the relationship with the title sponsor, Carlisle Companies, which is based right there in Scottsdale. So kind of a lot that goes into it.
What is the Epson Tour, and why should Arizona golfers care?
Yeah, so the Epson Tour is the official qualifying tour of the LPGA. So think of, if your listeners are familiar with the men's game, there's the Corn Ferry Tour. The Epson Tour is the equivalent of that for the LPGA. So these are players that are, a lot of them, recently graduated, elite college players, elite amateurs that turn professional. We've got a mix of veterans who have lost their LPGA Tour card that are trying to get their tour card back, and the Epson Tour is sort of their pathway to get back on the LPGA. So every year at season's end, the top 15 players on the Epson Tour's points list will graduate up to the LPGA for the following year. So we have a 20 event schedule all across the country. Events in, New York, Connecticut, Florida this week as the season kicks off, California, Michigan, Oregon, all over the country, 20 weeks during the year. And of course, the event right there in Scottsdale.
Well, let's talk Scottsdale a little bit. What makes TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course a great stage for this event?
Yeah, well, first off, we'll start with the golf course. The golf course layout itself is phenomenal. I think a lot of people are mostly familiar with the stadium course right across the street where the WM Phoenix Open takes place. And, obviously that gets a lot of spotlight on it. But the Champions course is a great layout as well. It's a fun golf course, a lot of, unique, interesting, and challenging holes, but also very playable and scoreable. And, if you look at the past results of our tournament, you'll see the leader, upwards of 10, 12, 14, 16 under for the 4-round tournament. So it's a fair challenge, a fair test of golf, and also a great arena for these incredibly talented golfers to show off their skills.
If you're a fan walking the course, where's the best places to watch? Are there any pivotal holes that you would post up at?
Yeah, there's a couple of holes, a couple of different spots where there's some holes that cross over where you can get a vantage point of a couple of different spots. There's a drivable par 4 out there. Off the top of my head, I can't think of the hole number, but there's a really fun drivable risk reward par 4 that kind of goes over, a valley of, I wouldn't say it's a water hazard necessarily because it's kind of a dry desert, but it's, an area you don't want to hit into if you can't carry it. But that's a fun hole. The par 3s are awesome out there. There's a mix of, one of them, I believe hole number 13 is a real short par 3. And then there's some challenging, lengthy par 3s with, bunkers and penalty areas to avoid. And then, really, I think the 18th hole is probably, where most of the people will gather and watch. And it's a reachable par 5 for the longer players, and depending on where the pin position is each day. But, a lot of activity will be happening on the 18th hole.
What's your personal favorite part about being at this venue?
Yeah, I think, really The golf course itself is excellent. The staff there is excellent. Obviously, TPC Scottsdale is a world renowned property, so it's lends some great name recognition to our event. To know that our event is happening at a world class venue, and we're super proud to be there.
Okay, let's talk storylines. Who should fans be watching this year?
Yeah, we have, like I was saying, we've got an interesting mix of elite, what I would call elite amateurs who have just turned pro, elite, NCAA All-Americans, national champions who have just turned pro, and they're fighting their way to get onto the LPGA, and a mix of veterans as well that are trying to get back there. So a couple that I would note, one with local ties that a lot of folks in Arizona may know is Ashley Menny. Ashley is local to Phoenix. She was a rookie last year on the Epson Tour, went to ASU, played golf at ASU, was an All-American there, and made it to the final stage of LPGA Q School last year. And so she's got full status on the Epson Tour this year, and would be one in particular. And then we've got a couple of other players I would note that are, the elite amateurs just turning pro. One of them, Gianna Clemente, is I believe she's either 17 or 18 and has elected to skip college and turn pro. And then another one to note would be Mirabelle Tang, who is just turned pro this past summer and was the NCAA champion. And so those would be two up and coming players to pay attention to.
What's the profile of player who wins here? Is it a long hitter, a great iron player, elite putter?
Yeah, I think just an all-around, elite player. If you look at our past champions, all 5 of them are LPGA Tour members. So, sometimes, I don't want to say that some wins can be fluky, but I mean, some wins I think are earned a little bit more than others. And we have what I would say is the strongest field anywhere on the Epson Tour. We had 2 major champions play in our event last year, one of them being Sophia Popov, who won the tournament. Our other past champions, Gabby Ruffles, is one of the top young players on the LPGA. Rei-Shin Liu has won our event twice and is on the LPGA Tour. So, I don't think that there's necessarily one aspect of a player's game that is going to carry the day. Certainly, you're going to have to putt well any week to win a tournament, but it's, it takes an all-around game to win the tournament there.
So what's at stake this week for the players, both financially and career-wise? I hear there's a $400,000 purse.
Yeah, biggest purse in the history of the Epson Tour, $400,000, and that's, totally due to the commitment of our title sponsor, Carlisle Companies, and they put up that purse for the players, and they want to have, the biggest and best purse on tour and the best tournament and attract the best players and, reward them accordingly for their performance. So $400,000 total purse, $60,000 goes to first place, which, is also the biggest first place check for any regular season event on the tour. And, a couple of years ago, we moved, basing it off money earned, we moved to a points list similar to what the LPGA does. So, 500, what we call race for the card points, go to the winner. And, as I mentioned, our previous 5 champions are all on the LPGA Tour. So it's a good indicator of who's going to be, one of those top players at the end of the season.
How does a win here change a season?
Yeah, I think it's, one, it sets you up financially in a very good spot for the rest of the season. I mean, we're in the first, maybe it's certainly first half of the season, but probably first quarter of the season, even our event. And so, it's going to set you up in a very comfortable place financially to play the rest of the year. You're going to be in a great spot in the standings, to take a little pressure off and, not be worrying so much of, even just keeping your card on the Epson Tour. I mean, certainly you're going to have, with a win, you're going to have your job security on the Epson Tour for another year. So, I think it just takes a lot of pressure off, probably mentally and certainly financially.
What would you say to the fans that want to see the future stars before they blow up?
One, come out to our event because they'll be there. You'll see them. and two, it's super affordable to do so. I mean, our tickets for our event are $12 for a single day ticket. And, if you look at the history of the Epson Tour and who some of the recent players are that have come through the Epson Tour, you look at Nelly Korda, Hannah Green, who just won on the LPGA last week, is an Epson Tour graduate. We've had players within the last couple of years who have graduated. Ingrid Lindblad won on the LPGA last year and graduated the year prior from the Epson Tour. So without a doubt, there's going to be, maybe even current major champions, but certainly future major champions and LPGA Tour winners that'll be playing in this field.
Let's talk fan experience. I'm a golfer in Arizona. What does attending look like, and what should people expect?
Yeah, well, I'm sure a lot of people in Arizona that have attended golf tournaments have probably attended the WM, and that's, a whole different beast in itself, right? It's our event. There's really no stake and rope along the fairway, right? So you can get, right up close personal interactions with these players. And, we've got a few different experiences during the week, more for the family friendly side of things. For one, juniors 17 and under are admitted free to the tournament with a ticketed adult. And we also do a junior clinic on Sunday that is free. And the pros kind of put on that clinic, and a really cool experience for these kids to get some hands-on golf lessons from a tour pro. And then, more for the adults, certainly we do a brewery festival on Saturday of the tournament out there. So we have about 10 local breweries that come out, sample free beer samples if you have a ticket to the tournament. And then, obviously, once you're inside tournament grounds, you can watch some world-class golf.
What time should people show up to get the most out of it?
Yeah, I think it just depends, who you are and what you're looking for. You're going to see great golf all day. Tee times start at 7:00 on Thursday and Friday, round 1 and 2. And, we make a cut down to the top 60 in ties on the weekend. So, leaders are probably going to be teeing off around noon on Saturday and Sunday. And, we'll be finishing up around 4:00, 4:30 on the 18th green. So, it's a great walk. It's an easily walkable course if you wanted to come out, walk, and follow the leaders for 18 holes. And, number 9 comes back to the clubhouse. You can stop, take a break, grab a water, grab some concessions, and head back out for the back 9. So it's a really good walkable, course as a fan.
Where can people find the full schedule of events?
Yeah, everything, schedule of events, ticket information, it's all available. It's www.carlislelpga.com.
And that's the best place to get tickets?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a ticket page on there. Best place to get tickets for sure.
For someone who's never been to this tournament, what's the perfect day plan? Like, I'm going to be out there. I want to know.
Listen, I think it's Arizona, right? So I would say check the weather, see if it's going to be, a super hot day, and you may want to come out and watch golf in the morning, or, it could be a very pleasant day and you want to come out in the afternoon. But, if you want to come out at, like I was saying, about noon on Saturday or Sunday and follow along for a few hours, that's going to be your best, I would say the best, most elite golf that you're going to watch with our leaders paired together on the weekend.
How about the best photo moment on the property?
The best photo moment is, what I would say is if somebody wants to have a photo op with the players, I think it's easily doable. Like I was saying, there's no, real stake and rope that's, separating you from the players. When players finish their round and come out of the scoring tent, they're always super willing to sign autographs and take photos and, interact with the fans. And they really appreciate the support of having people out there watching them.
If you're someone who wants to get involved beyond buying a ticket, like volunteers, partners, local businesses, what should they do?
Yeah, again, I would direct everybody to our website, www.carlislelpga.com. We've got a page on there to register to volunteer. We've got information about our Pro-Am on there. We still have some limited Pro-Am opportunities available. And, beyond I mentioned we've got very affordable general admission tickets. We also do sell an upgraded hospitality ticket That includes food and beverage all week, which is a really good value. All that information is available on our website as well.
All right, Matt. Well, we appreciate you. Is there anything else you want to let people know about the tournament?
Yeah, no, I would just reiterate again for the fans and people that want to come out and attend. It's a super affordable ticket. Parking is super convenient right across the street. You park at the soccer fields across the street, walk right across and scan your ticket and you're in the tournament. So it's a very convenient, parking, affordable, accessible experience and family friendly. And of course, I mentioned the brewery festival. We've got something for the adults as well. So,
Matt, we appreciate you coming on. For everybody listening, the Carlisle, Arizona Women's Golf Classic is April 30th through May 3rd in Scottsdale at the TPC Scottsdale Champions Course. So grab your tickets, get the full schedule, including the Brewery Festival, at carlislelpga.com. The links are in the description. I'm Brett Smith. Thanks for listening, and always remember to tip your card staff.